Good morning. We are in Erie, Pennsylvania, and at KERI. This is the airport where I learned how to fly in, and it's a bit of a dreary day today. Today we're not going to go flying. I wanted to go over some VR stuff. So on explain.org, there had been some discussion about how the VR mouse cursor works, and so I thought I'd do just a pretty quick stream here about how the VR controllers work, and then how the VR mouse cursor works. They act quite differently, and and it may be a misunderstanding, or they just don't. The VR cursor, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't work as well as what the VR controllers do. So I'm trying to think what I want to do here. Make sure everything's working here. Okay, so that's all working. So before because I kind of want to start playing up, because I want to. I'm also doing kind of a sound check to make sure I'm not yelling, and because I had the plane too loud my previous stream, so whenever the plane is too loud, I tend to try to talk over it, and which means I'm kind of yelling. It may not come over that way in the stream, but it does in the house. So one thing, so if I take my VR controller, and as I move it by this window, you notice you see this blue arrow, this blue line. Another window, another window, another window. This is Avatab, and it's intentionally here because I've heard Avatab has a problem, and I wanna see if I can replicate that. These windows here are OVR Toolkit windows, so they're different. They are. This is an overlay program, so basically, if I pull my, and grab it. Whoop, come on, I want to grab you. There we go. So this is my desktop. So you see that this window has been replicated separately, pulled out, and placed in my VR cockpit. This is my whole desktop. I think that's the only one I pulled in. Nope, Chatty's pulled in too. So Chatty's over here. So OVR Toolkit allows me to do this. So it allows me to bring windows from my desktop into the VR cockpit, and I can interact with them. So we'll go ahead and put you back out of the way. And this is a Plywood Lewis script, and it works the same way. You can see when I put my cursor, my VR controller close to it, and then then this blue line comes here. So because of that, you can absolutely see. So if I'm going to check this, you can tell I'm pointing right at that box, and if I pull the trigger,
check,
it checks it.
OBS streaming.
And yeah, I'm streaming.
Check. OVR Toolkit Windows.
Yep.
Check. Fly with Lewis sound script.
Yep, I just looked at it.
Check.
Avatar?
Avitab plugin.
Yep. That's here. Whoops.
Check. Pre-flight checklist. Parking brake. On. Ignition switch. Off. Avionics master switch. Off. Master switch, battery. On. Fuel quantity. Sufficient. Avionics master switch.
Oh.
On. Avionics cooling fan. Audible. Avionics master switch. Off. Static pressure alternate. Off. Warning lights panel. Tested. Fuel selector valve. Both. Fuel shut-off valve. Pushed in. Flaps, 1020 full. Tested. Flaps. Up. Pitot heat. On. Ammeter current load.
So I'm not actually checking it, but I can see it's current.
Check. Pitot heat. Off. Master switch, battery. Off. Elevator trim.
I have to work on that one.
Set for
That one's
takeoff.
not right.
Before starting engine checklist. Parking brake. On. Autopilot. Off. Avionics master switch. Off. Fuel selector valve. Both. Fuel shut-off valve. Pushed in. Starting engine checklist. Master switch, battery.
Okay. So that shows up blue, but when I come over here, you don't see that blue line. Only if it's a window in VR does that blue line show up. So if I come down here, you don't see that blue line. What you do see is when I get close to something I can interact with, you can see that the this knob here, it highlights green. So that's highlight screen, that highlight screen. So anything I can interact with is going to highlight green. Can't interact with that. I can with that. All the switches down here, I can interact with them. But you don't see the blue line like you do here. So that, that's the difference between a window, that you can interact with here. And the same thing, like when I'm here, so master, if I turn
On.
this on.
Beacon light. On. Throttle. Open 1/4 inch. Mixture.
Really? Huh. I wonder what's wrong there. I got to go over this checklist. I'm
Full
glad
rich.
I did it.
Auxiliary fuel pump. On. 3 SECS. Auxiliary fuel pump. Off. Propeller area.
Clear pop?
Clear. Ignition switch. Start. Oil pressure.
That was a little weird. Not sure what that was all about. That's fine. I'll worry about it later. So yeah, I just wanted to just get the plane running. And so that's kind of what's different here. So if I'm on a VR window, the blue this blue line shows up, and wherever the line's pointed at, so I can say, because it isn't an automatic check, then I have to click on it.
Checked. Master switch, alternator. On. Ammeter. Checked. NAV lights. On, at night. Avionics master switch. On. Flaps. Up. Before taxi checklist. Fuel quantity.
So I'm going to stop right there, and so that's kind of what I wanted to show is the difference between this, and now I will I think I'll go ahead and I'll shut the plane down, and wanted to do one quick thing here. Let me AYNT. Enter. Okay. So on my Bigscreen Beyond, I have an IPD problem. So if like right now, if I look kind of predominantly through my right lens, that gauge is crystal clear. If I kind of look at it kind of straight on, then at times it starts to get, as I turn my head, now I'm starting to look through both lenses, then the image tends to get fuzzy. It's not unreadable, but it's not crisp. On the other hand, if I'm looking over here, so I'm predominantly using my right eye, and I look at this distance indicator, I can clearly see it says 0.6. So, and the other test you can do is close your eyes. So I'm going to close my right eye, and I'm going to look at this gauge here. And then I'm going to close my left eye. That gauge is blurry. I didn't move my head at all. That gauge is blurry. If I shove my headset close to my nose, the gauge tends to get clearer. So what that means is that the lenses and the screens are wider than my eyes, and so the IPD is wrong. When I took the scan, and I took the scan twice, both times it said my IPD was 65. My eye doctor said that my IPD is 67. So I went, well, okay, well, I'll go in the middle of those two. That was a mistake, as we're finding out. I certainly should have went at least with the scan, if not maybe one below it, as more people get their headsets, and I'm kind of and some people are experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing. So I have a ticket in to have that result, and we'll just kind of wait for the queue, and until it's my turn. The good thing about it is it's not as bad as some people. Some people, there's no way I could do this stream where within 10 minutes, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, you would have enough eye strain and you would get a headache. I'm not experiencing that, so either my body is adapting, or I'm kind of found a way to work around it, or I'm not sure what it is. But I've done streams for 2.5 hours, so that is not affecting me from streaming, and I will continue until somebody gets a hold of me and says, hey, we can send you a new headset. So that's kind of when you are in the sweet spot, this is a really crisp, very vibrant, colorful, vibrant image. It is really, really nice. And the fact is, it's just so light, and so you can move your head around. You don't. It's just attached to your face. I mean, you don't feel the. It doesn't have enough weight to have inertia to it. So when you move your head, you don't feel the headset moving. You just move your head. So The other thing that's new for today is I have this strap here. So basically, this is a strap that comes with swimming goggles. And so I went ahead and kind of, when I first put it on, I followed how people were doing it before, and I went, ooh, that is way too tight. There was too much pressure. So on the side here, you have like a silicone ring, that basically used to go on the swimming goggles, but I've wrapped it around the post of the, and put some tape around it, so it basically snaps onto the Bigscreen Beyond, the knobs that stick out of the Bigscreen Beyond. And when I went to put it on, it was like way too tight. It was like, oh. And I think what it was is this facial interface. So the facial interface on mine is probably half an inch, maybe more. And so what I thought is, okay, well, I got to make up that dimension. So what I did is I took a tie wrap, right there, I believe. And so I took a tie wrap and I put it through the silicone ring, and then the adjustable strap. That helped a lot. So the pressure on this is not very much at all. So there are people that are having real trouble with the gasket, and I'm wondering, like, how tight are they running that? If they run it too tight, maybe that's what the issue is. So, but other than the IPD issue, I'm just loving this thing. It's so nice. It's native Steam VR. So when I started the stream up today, I started up X-Plane, and then I told it go into VR. When it went into VR, it started up Steam VR, and also started up my base stations all automatically. I didn't have to do anything, and that's such a it just makes using VR so much easier. My previous headset, the Vive Pro 2, I had to turn on this link box and give it power for the headset. When that turned on, then it started up an application. That application started up Steam VR. This application would look at what was running. So if you had a whole bunch of stuff on a desktop running, it would actually change the resolution of the headset automatically. Kind of like, really? So I learned to not have anything running on the desktop, nothing running. And when I started it, then I could reliably get a resolution consistently. Where otherwise, sometimes you'd start it up and it would be much by 500 or 1,000 per side difference in resolutions. So all of a sudden you'd fired up and you'd look at your frames and they were like 10. You go like, what was that? Well, it decided it needed a higher resolution. So okay, so we got this all working. So let me I'm gonna shut the plane down. So we're gonna turn this off. And so a couple of other things about the VR controller. So when I come in and that turns green, I feel that in my headset, in my controller. I actually feel that. So the haptic just kind of bumps, so I can tell the difference. Same way as I come over here, I felt when I come close to it. So you could do it pretty blindly. So pull the power off. Is down. Okay. So now I'm going to go turn the mouse on. So whoops, over here. And I'm going to enable the mouse cursor. So there it is. It showed up. So I'm going to get in the cockpit first. Resume play. Okay. So I'm going to put that guy down. I'm going to keep the other one. See if I can find my mouse. Okay. So, that's neat. It's going to rain. So the mouse is a little weird. So I'm not so sure why it's out there. But if I pull it down a little bit, it stays out there. I'm not sure why. So the mouse is strange, to say the least. there is a reason why I generally, there's two reasons. I like the valve index controllers. What I like about them is I can keep them on my hands, fly an airplane, and basically with my right one, I'd be running the controls, whatever I want to do with my right hand. A mouse, the VR mouse cursor to me is immersive braking for me. It's not for everybody, but some people enjoy it. They can't stand the controllers. That's fine. So for some reason, that mouse is out there. So we'll see if I bring it around. Nope. And then all of a sudden, it just pops in there. You go, really? Why? I'm just, all I'm doing, it's probably hard to see in the camera, but I'm just bringing the mouse down on the mouse pad, just bringing it down. So it's up there, bring it down, and that just pops in there. So now you can see, you know, when it's over the knobs, it sees that. Over the knobs, sees that. Huh, must be a push for there. Okay, I didn't realize it. But also notice, and it's probably hard to see, that hand with the finger pointing, that's a ways away from that knob. It's not on it. It's off by, it's probably an inch in front of it, by the best I can tell her. And so, now the other thing, now we're on the window. But notice what's going on. Notice that mouse cursor is behind this window now, for whatever reason. Maybe there is a reason. Let me look. That's what it is. Okay, so I intentionally have this window transparent, and wherever there is a text, I have like a background on it, so that it kind of, if you do it straight with transparency, and you can see like right there where it says flight instruments. See if I can try to keep that there. I go all the way across. Nope, can't. But I keep moving. I can't do it quite straight across. Pretty close though. Okay, so if there's no background, and that's kind of what's going on here, at least on this checklist, is if there's a background behind it, that mouse cursor will stay in front. But if there's transparency, like in between, then it goes back behind, and then back out. So, and the same notion here, like, okay, so we're gonna click on this. It's a bit hard to tell that you're actually in the right place, where if I push on the, yep, like if I click on the button here now, it's not gonna do anything. So now I should be able to work. So
flight controls.
So this makes it like really, really, really difficult to try to reliably. I mean, I can, like, with a VR controller, I mean, I guaranteed when I have that blue line pointing at that box, I'm guaranteed it's going to work. Where here, man, I mean, you've got to be right in the right place.
Free and correct.
For it to work.
Cabin doors.
And that's
close.
Part of
flight
what
instruments.
I think they are seeing is that and because I heard the term behind the window, and that's exactly what this is. It's behind this window, but it's related to whether there's a background on this window. So we'll see. I'm looking at these. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. So there is a very, 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 very small blue dot right at the tip of the cursor. And it looks like it is on the surface of that button. So let me try my best to keep the blue dot on the button. Okay. So if I keep the blue dot on the button, right there, it's right at the edge and it went off. So that's what it is. So let's see if I can see it. Yep, there it is. Yep, that's what it is. And let me tell you, this blue dot is really small. I mean, it's got to be a pixel. I don't think it's more than a pixel. It's small. It is unbelievably small. I'm not sure every VR headset would be able to see this. But it is. There is a blue dot. Right. Basically, it looks like it is. It's so hard to see. I'm trying to look. It's really hard to tell whether the blue dot is actually on the surface of that button or if it's actually floating above it. But the thing I know for sure is if I can keep it in that area of the button, that VR mouse cursor will not go behind. That's a fact. Now, when you get maybe close to the edge, there may be some problems knowing for it to know exactly know its position. There it goes. So it just dropped off the button, and it went to the back. It went back behind. So that may be what it is. I mean, and I kind of wanted to, let's go up here. Yeah, now this is a great big window. You know, so as long as I, as long as I keep this in the window, we'll go over to this one. Same thing. It stays right there. So, and the other thing is this. Whoops. So, with the VR controllers, let's do this. So I'm going to lean in, get really close to this window. Then I'm going to go back. That's the only way you can move in 3D space with the VR mouse. At least that's the only thing I found. So if I move my head in and out, it moves. Where on a VR controller, so if I grab my VR controller, I highlight this wherever I put it. That's where it goes. But with a VR mouse, that's not a possibility. It actually is. It's a relationship between when you grab it and your head. So when I got that top bar highlighted, as I move my head in and out, so does that. So let's kind of look around here. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. So basically, I don't know how this is going on. I really don't. This is different than Let me try something. This is unique to Avatar. Okay. So, this is also a window. Same thing. That is entertaining. So somehow this mouse is looking at something. I'm trying to figure out what it's actually looking at. Let me get to something I know what it is. I'm gonna get enough of it over there. Okay. So, if I rotate the scroll wheel, no. I was thinking it was the altimeter, but I just want to make sure the scroll wheel actually worked for that. I'm going to put this over here. So, even though, and I'm sure this is the altimeter. Get this out of the way. Maybe I'm not over far enough. No, it's something completely different. Yeah, now it's affecting the aspect ratio. Uh, okay, so that's not what I thought it was. Get you out of the way, get you back over here. So even though, yeah. So even though the mouse representation shows up on front of this window when I run the scroll wheel up and down, it doesn't affect it. So that's all pretty weird. Where if I'm over here, I move the scroll wheel up and down, absolutely can affect it. So needless to say, The VR mouse cursor is a rather strange beast. So, see if I can actually get this plane to start. Certainly a challenge. So I better do it like that. To me, this is, maybe I've been using VR controllers for too long, but this is not a pleasant experience. And it may be unique to explain, but for me as a very long time VR user, this is just not a pleasant experience. Just not. And we're hello. Well, maybe it went to sleep. Could be it went to sleep. Come on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it went to sleep. Yeah, it's just not a pleasant experience, and you just don't have any of the weirdness. Just don't. So to each your own. But in the same way as I've never seen the aspect ratio here get changed using a VR controller. I've just never seen that. And absolutely on the using the mouse, it absolutely did. So I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if I can fix it. Let's see. So I was over here. Yeah, so it's like, it's like every time I have my hand over here and I click on the right mouse button, it just makes it smaller. So what would make it bigger? Good morning, Iowa Scotsman. I'm playing around with the VR mouse cursor. What a strange beast this is. So this is a Fly with Lewis script. And with the VR mouse cursor, if I put my mouse over here, and then I click on the left mouse button, it makes the text smaller. And I can't find an opposite to it. That's bizarre. That's completely bizarre. So it just keeps making it smaller and smaller. I mean, making it really, really, really difficult to read. So, let's see. And I do this. What will this do? Nope, won't do nothing. What will this do? Shrunk it in. And what does this do? It kind of makes it big. It kind of makes it bigger, but it doesn't really make it readable. This is like, really? Yeah, this is Fly with Lua, strip. Basically it's how I set my sound in VR. And, so it's using I am GUI. So is it related? Hey, it could be. But the whole point is I normally don't use a VR mouse cursor. So I don't, I've not played around like that. So yeah. Well, this is from Fly with Lua. So Fly with Lua, the cool thing, so let me get something I'm comfortable with. So This guy here, this is a plywood Lewis script. So basically, this is my rudder panels, and this is using IM GUI. So this basically is a representation of my rudder pedals and the brakes. This one over here is called landing rate, and it's the same way. It's a plywood Lewis script that's using IM GUI. If I go ahead and hit pause, must be there's nothing there. Unpause. Normally it would display what the last landing rate is. It could very well be I haven't landed today, so nothing is there. And also this I'm gonna get rid of this. Hello. Maybe I am. It's not letting me close it. That's interesting. Yeah, let's go play. So I'll turn it off. This will be interesting to see how it starts. Macro. Yep. So that's what it's supposed to look like. So basically, I just basically killed the macro and then restarted it. So that's how it's supposed to look. So, and what I was explaining is that so any of these windows, you see this blue line coming from the controllers. You don't get that kind of feedback with the VR mouse cursor. So, but like I said, to each their own. All I wanted to try to demonstrate today was just the difference between the using VR controllers and using the VR mouse cursor. There's a lot of things about the mouse cursor that seems odd to me that I think could be made better, but it's the same way as so when I'm on my checklist here, I'm gonna find my mouse. There we go. When I'm on a checklist, if the mouse cursor is behind that checklist, and the best I've come up with is because I have this transparent, that allows that mouse cursor to go behind this window. If I'm over here, I can see this little blue dot, and it's really small. If that dot, and there's like a translucent background. If it's there, then that cursor is going to stay in front of it. And so I'm trying to get to where I would need to be to actually click it. So that's about right, but it's not obvious, as opposed to that's obvious. It's obvious. I'm pointing right at that box. If I pull the trigger,
set.
It's going to check
radios and avionics.
And where with the VR mouse cursor, it's not obvious, at least in my mind. So it all depends on what you do, you know. So. Gotcha. Yeah, it's all in how you how we interact in VR. I mean, each one of us are quite individualized in how we think VR is right for us. So that's absolutely, and I'm cool with that. I, on the other hand, completely minimalist. So I have a physical yoke. I have physical pedals. My VR controllers do all other interactions, all. So I don't need, you know, like a button box and this and that and this and that. I don't need all of that, you know. So I am using a completely different approach than from what I've observed many people. So, and that's fine. My goal is I'm trying to not if I move out of the house that I'm in, I don't want, I won't have room for all of this if I move into an apartment. So I'm kind of trying to make that work for me. So that's kind of the other part of my approach. So if that makes any sense. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So joke. So this, I'm kind of glad I did this because I have not done this before. Kind of to see how different this is. It's really different. Yeah, and then the other thing is like trying to move one of these windows. It's kind of like, okay, so I have to move my head. So I actually have to move my head in, hold it, and pull it back. That's kind of weird. So that's kind of different, but it is what it is. So, but the fact that this goes right behind it, that's, to me, I don't think that's right. Let me look at something. So the VR controller knows that that's a window. It actually disappears. And I have not seen that. I have not seen that. Is it unique to the Tullus? Or have you seen it other places? Because quite frankly, you guys posting on explain.org is exactly why I chose to do this stream today. Because the weather was bad, I wasn't going to fly, but I thought it'd be a great way to show off the headset and also kind of look at this issue. You know, I mean, so because if it's complete, you can't even see it. That's weird. Because I know, like, if I take and move this up a little bit. Okay. Okay. You don't have the issue with the Challenger. Okay. All right. So like right now, that mouse cursor is way out in front of us. I don't know. Hopefully you can see it. It's way out in front of us. It's out in front of the prop. So it's way out in front of us. But it's absolutely there. It's not, it didn't disappear. It's just not in the cockpit. So if I move my mouse down on the mat, about the time it actually disappears from my view, then it shows up in the cockpit. So that's also kind of a little weird, but yeah, just the way it interacts with the buttons is just odd. It's nothing. It's not. To me, it's not intuitive at all. So certainly that's an arrow. So that'll go up. Let me get to that avionics one. You referring to that? On the comm? I mean, to me it absolutely works, but oh, I got you. Yeah, that works. I would not have thought that. Yeah, that works. Okay, I got you. Way easier. Yeah, yeah, that's way easier. Okay. uh, yep, that's way easier. Very, very interesting. That's cool. That is cool. Alrighty. Well, I think I kind of went over what I wanted. So, yeah. Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably scoot out, and that's kind of all I wanted to do is kind of just go over what's different between the VR mouse cursor and using VR controllers. So, yeah, that's about all I had in mind for today, because it is kind of a lousy day. So, we'll see you later. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, I think we'll go ahead and get this plane shut down. Maybe on exhaust. We'll mix back. Okay. I think that's about it. So, let me go turn this guy off. Goodbye. Huh. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna call that a day. And uh, if you enjoy this content, please click on the follow button. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put this on over onto YouTube. And so it was kind of a twofold thing. I wanted to check out the comfort strap, and thank you so much for stopping by, Iowa. Much appreciated. And so I'll end up putting this on YouTube. It'll show up at midnight tonight, and so it I did what I wanted to do for today. So we'll see you later. Y'all have a great day. Was I better, babe?